Presented by CoinDCX, your gateway to crypto.
Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Reliance Jio reveals its 2 lakh crore rupee 5G plan, services to be launched in 4 metros by Diwali. Every town in India to be covered by the super-fast network by December 2023. No announcements for an IPO yet, but Reliance Retail to step into FMCG. Isha Ambani gets a 75,000 crore rupee war chest to compete with Hindustan Unilever, Nestle and Britannia. Mukesh Ambani lays down his succession plans at the Reliance AGM. Akash to lead telecom, Isha put in charge of retail and Ananth to look after new energy. Markets slide to a 1-month low on weak global cues. Sensex plunges over 850 points. Nifty ends below 17,350. IT stocks worst hit. Even as the Indian IT industry finds itself divided on the issue of moonlighting, Business Today TV does a deep dive into the employment contracts of IT bellwethers. Reliance Industries conducted its 45th annual general meeting today, led by Mukesh Ambani, the billionaire chairman and managing director of the oil telco retail conglomerate. In the AGM, Ambani has unveiled its plan for 5G, FMCG business and the roadmap for its new energy manufacturing business as the conglomerate aims to turn net carbon zero by 2035. Here are some of those comments first.
To build our pan-India true 5G network, we have committed a total investment of 2 lakh crore rupees. Jio has prepared an ambitious and the fastest ever 5G rollout plan for a country of our size. Within the next 2 months, that is by Diwali of 2022, we will launch Jio 5G across multiple key cities, including the metro cities of Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Calcutta. Subsequently, we plan to increase the Jio 5G footprint month after month until by December of 2023, which is less than 18 months from today, to deliver Jio 5G to every town, every taluka and every tehsil of our country.
With an eye on becoming more robust and resilient, Mukesh Ambani expects the company to more than double its value by the end of 2027. Listen in.
My existing team of leaders and I, along with our board of directors, shall dedicate ourselves to making the institutional culture of Reliance more robust, more resilient, more purpose-driven, and truly future-ready. And so that in the near term, Reliance more than doubles its value by the end of its golden decade in 2027, and thereafter continues to grow ever more rapidly.
Reliance Retail all set to foray into the FMCG segment. Hear out Reliance Retail's director, Isha Ambani.
This year, we will launch our fast-moving consumer goods business. The objective of this business is to develop and deliver products that solve every Indian's daily needs with high-quality products at affordable pricing. As part of our commitment to India's rich culture and heritage, we will soon start marketing quality goods produced by tribals and other marginalized communities across India. This will not only provide these communities with gainful opportunities for employment and entrepreneurship, but also help preserve the incredibly rich talent, skill sets, and knowledge base of our traditional Indian artisans, especially women.
The oil chemical conglomerate is all set to invest 75,000 crore rupees in petchem expansion. Here's the chairman, Mukesh Ambani, on this.
Over the next 5 years, we will invest rupees 75,000 crores and expand capacities in existing and new value chains. First, in the polyester value chain, we will build one of the world's largest single-train PTA plant of 3 million tons per annum capacity at Dahej. We will also invest in 1 million ton a year PET plant at Dahej. Both PTA and PET will be targeted for completion by 2026. We will also reinvest in polyester filament yarn and polyester staple fiber. Polyester expansion with a capacity of over 1 million tons will be completed in phases by 2026.
Mukesh Ambani laid down his succession plans at the AGM, saying all 3 children will be leading businesses at his conglomerate, outlining the leadership transition that's already underway at Reliance Industries.
We are creating an operating model for all our businesses that will create value in perpetuity. Dear shareholders, at a time when a bright future is beckoning Reliance, what gives me optimism about ability to realize our dreams is our huge reservoir of young, dynamic, and best-in-class talent. Our next generation leaders are taking over the reins confidently across businesses, verticals, and horizontals. Akash and Isha have assumed leadership roles in Geo and retail. They have been passionately involved in our consumer business since its inception. Anand has also joined in our new energy business with great zeal. In fact, he is spending most of his time in Jamnagar.
My colleague Sakshi Batra spoke with analysts Rajat Sharma and Devin Choksi to understand some of the key insights at this AGM. Listen in to what they felt on the tonality with regards to the future outlook, several announcements made by the management, and also about their targets for the RIL stock.
A clear, a smooth succession plan in place is what the markets have been looking at right here. Do you believe the way in which this is being announced almost towards the end of the speech, on almost like an emotional note, he mentioned that it's been 2 decades of him serving as the chairman of Reliance Industries and how he has been able to attend each and every single AGM in the last 45 years. And now he was talking about how the next gen is taking the reins over. What do you really make of the way in which the transition is taking place? Is it going to be much smoother and welcomed by the investors?
Look, I think, when you look at Reliance Industries, they have a 14% contribution to the Nifty. So 14% of Nifty is Reliance Industries. So
Yes.
Whenever money comes to India, whenever foreign institutions invest, Reliance is a definite beneficiary because the money comes, in the broader indices, and Reliance is a beneficiary. How markets will take it is, markets would obviously want would want the current chairman and stuff to go on for a long time. And I don't think this will make much of an impact if he resigns and somebody else takes over. On an immediate basis, on a 1 year, 2 year basis, I don't think it will make much of an impact. It will have to be seen how the new generation of leaders take it forward. But currently, of course, the markets would want the current leadership to continue because there is no doubt that Mukesh Ambani has done really, really well in terms of taking this business forward and stuff. So, how markets will take it, I think on immediate basis, this will not have an impact. This will not have an impact. People will not be worried that investors will not be worried that the management has changed. But personally, I think it's not going to happen so soon. So don't take what he's saying so strictly that it's not going to happen anytime now. So this I can tell you.
What else really stood out for you in today's AGM announcements?
So few things, sorry for I think this disconnection, but a few things I think which came out very clearly. 3.5 lakh crore worth of investment program that he has put across, out of which 2 lakh crore investment is going in the area of I think geo-related 5G network, I think which is being rolled out. And I think the larger part of the clarity has come today in form of I think investment into the 5G related network. So on one side you have the mobility, on the other side you have got fiber to home, and now I think that today the specific announcement has come as far as fiber to enterprise is concerned. And within fiber to enterprise, I think the detail has been given across different verticals, starting from agriculture to education to healthcare to gaming, fintech, e-commerce, etc. And each of these verticals would possibly have a larger amount of applications to start, I think, from this particular network that they'll be rolling out. That does mean that 2 lakh crore worth of investment would possibly result into, I think, a revenue of, if not more, I think around 2 lakh 50,000 crores eventually. And I think that means that I think the profit EBITDA at around, I think, 1 lakh crore out of this new investment. So currently, Jio is already making about 50,000 crore worth of EBITDA, and that is growing steadily at around 25%. With this new investment coming in, I think additional 1 lakh crore worth of EBITDA can be expected. So Jio, per se, would be the largest contributor of profits into the entire Reliance, because O2C business is contributing about 50,000 crore worth of EBITDA. And if that is growing at around 10% or so, then probably Jio would be the largest contributor of the EBITDA into the Reliance's balance sheet going forward.
Right. Also, Mr. Choksi, do today's announcements give you the confidence that Reliance Industries could definitely be a stock that one should hold for a long-term portfolio, could unlock the value for shareholders in the long term, despite the kind of outperformance that we've seen recently from Reliance Industries over the past 1.5, 2 years or so? Do you think the outperformance could continue?
So I have been maintaining my view that if Reliance industry is basically across all its verticals, is putting across this year, there would be around 1,40,000, 1,50,000 crore worth of EBITDA. Last year it was somewhere around 125,000 crore EBITDA. So I think the point which I'm trying to say is that this is a new business coming up, which I explained about Jio. I think even the new material segment where 75,000 crore worth of investment is taking place, that in itself, I think, would have the ability to contribute around 40,000-50,000 crore worth of EBITDA. And at the same time, I think the 75,000 crore worth of investment happening now in O2C business, that in a way, I think would also generate additional around 15 to 20,000 crore worth of EBITDA. So all in all put together, if you see, I think the Reliance from the core business itself, I think on a generic basis is growing. At the same time, new investment will bring additional growth. I see possibility of around doubling the size of the profit, I think, over next 3 years or so. Should that be the situation, then Reliance could, stock price could possibly earn 25 to 30% kind of CAGR return for investors in next 3 to 4 years time.
Okay. Mr. Sharma, would you want to comment on that? The kind of expectations that you would have, any targets that you have in mind for Reliance Industries in the long term?
Yeah, no, look, my point is I think Reliance will perform just as well or as badly as the Indian markets perform. I am a little skeptical about this whole talk about the Jio operations and stuff, because, if you look at the balance sheet, even if you look at the segmental revenue today, almost 50% of Reliance's revenue still comes from refining and marketing. Jio is around 10% or 8 to 10% of the total gross revenue, which is the top line. So, how much can they improve on that? It's true that 8 to 10% is probably very large compared to other telecom operators, but within Reliance as a group, they're trying to foray into telecom and, organized retail and stuff. It's going to take a while, and all of these are businesses where they will feel immense margin pressure because they're getting into businesses where there is existing competition and very big competition. So I think it's going to take a while. Of course, there is a theory that electric vehicles will probably eat into the share of refiners, and petrol will take a back seat. But I think personally, that's a while away. So today, if you look at their segmental revenue, 50% of their revenue is still refining and marketing of oil.
Yeah, so, sure.
I think they will probably feel margin pressures and the operating line will suffer. So I don't think I have very, very high price targets for Reliance. They will, as I said, perform as well as the market does, because as I said, 14% of the Nifty is Reliance. So if money comes into India, of course, a lot of it will benefit Reliance Industries. So nothing special for me in this stock or in this company that I would like to hold it, and I would like to tell my clients, buy this, you'll do really well. I don't think there's a special story here.
Okay, not a special story, but I think, Devin, you would have something special to talk about it, because it has been one of your favorite stocks as well that you've been talking about for years now. Today, we also heard Isha Ambani talk about the foray into the FMCG space. that they may want to do this year. There's also, big bang announcements coming in on the new energy space. They've acquired 100% REC, moving forward with the energy parks going forward, the battery packs as well. So the EV story may play out. How are you reading into all of this in terms of the kind of value it can unlock for shareholders?
So let me put across a few numbers and then probably expand on this particular subject. On a 5 lakh crore worth of O2C revenue, they are making about 50,000 crore worth of EBITDA. On a Geo platform, about 1 lakh crore worth of revenue, they are making 50,000 crore worth of EBITDA. From the oil exploration business on an annualized basis, going by the higher production and the new gas prices that they are fetching, they should be doing about 20,000 crore worth of EBITDA in the current year from oil exploration business. In the retail business, on a 2 lakh crore worth of revenue, they are making an EBITDA on an annualized basis. Now this year, they'll be around 20,000 crores. So all in all, put together, I don't count, the new material segment in business. Just count, this many businesses they've created, consumer-facing business and the industrial business. So consumer-facing businesses are basically producing an EBITDA of around 70,000 crore in the current year. And the current year, the conventional business of oil to gas and the oil exploration business put close to somewhere around 70,000 crore, equal amount of EBITDA. So they are coming at a balanced level. My understanding is that the growth in the consumer-facing business is going to expand faster. And that is where a case for, this company investing significantly higher amount of money into the new businesses. That is what the announcement is all about. So that is where I believe that the important aspect is.
Let's take a very quick break on that note. Back with more stories on the other side.
कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
Can I really do this? Thoda doubtful, thoda clueless. Should I try it? Kya main loon risk? Go for it. I got stuff, I won't take it slow.
Try नहीं करोगे तो जानोगे कैसे?
Just go for it.
कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
कोई फायदा नहीं अब। कोई जरूरत नहीं रही भाई। नई कार खरीदने से पहले एको इंश्योरेंस कंपनी चेक करे और 50,000 तक बचाए।
कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
Welcome back. Markets started the week on a somber note. Equity benchmarks suffered sharp losses amid a global sell-off after Fed Chair Jerome Powell sounded hawkish at the Jackson Hole Symposium. Sensex and Nifty ended the day in the red but were off the day's lows. Sensex tanked 871 points, shutting shop below 58,000. Nifty too slipped over 240 points to end below 17,350. Nifty IT and banking stocks pulled headline indices lower. IT stocks fell on US recession concerns. Among the top Nifty losers were Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech and Kotak Mahindra Bank. Except for Nifty FMCG, all sectoral indices were in the red. Amid the few gainers were Britannia, Maruti, Nestle, Coal India and Asian Paints. A one-line tweet by Rishad Premji, the executive chairman of Wipro, has split the Indian information technology industry like never before. The bone of contention is whether IT employees should be allowed to earn more money by moonlighting. While it was Premji who sparked the debate, the most definitive views on the issue have come from the Business Today India at 100 summit.
For an industry which employs nearly 5 million highly educated, highly paid staff, the latest controversy is an elemental one. Should these employees be allowed to work a second job to supplement their income? Wipro's big boss fired the first shot last week, saying the practice of moonlighting in the tech industry was plain and simple cheating. The response on social media was immediate and brutal. There was a flurry of tweets slamming the Wipro boss for his views, with most saying that the employees should be allowed to do as they please in their free time and that employees should have the freedom to earn some extra money. Business Today TV, in fact, spoke to Infosys veteran Mohandas Pai.
This industry has been exploiting freshers for the last 10 years. They have not increased the compensation from the 3.5 lakhs per year or 3.85 lakhs per year they paid in 2008, 9, 10, etc. They have not paid more till now. They have been exploiting people because there are surplus people in the system. All of them want to join the big companies, build their career, they get good training. They've been exploiting, they're not being fair.
Business Today TV also did a deep dive into employment contracts of the big 5 IT companies in India to figure out where they stand on moonlighting. It was interesting to see while all 5 companies, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL and Tech Mahindra, prohibit any kind of work outside the company, they have left a provision open that an employee can work outside with the permission of the company. It is, however, a permission which is granted very rarely. Meanwhile, those leading these companies have divergent views, as was clear at the Business Today India at 100 Summit.
Moonlighting, we have to, it's an ethical issue, right? So, we need to inculcate that ethics and being right. And if you make something like this for short-term gains, in the long term, you will lose out, right? And that kind of a message has to go to employees.
Somebody meets the productivity and efficiency norms, and if he wants to make an extra buck, as long as he's not committing a fraud and he is not, doing something which is against the values and the ethics of the company, I have no problem. Frankly, I'm going to probably make it a policy that if you want to do it, sure, but be open about it. Share with us.
So the headline is, CP Gurnani is pro-hustle culture for millennials.
The headline, Ayush, is that if you are a millennial and if you can do 2 jobs, you are a superhero.
With most IT employees working from home the past 2 years, instances of moonlighting have exploded. Companies have been caught off guard and find their hand tied, particularly because of the sheer dearth of suitable talent. According to a survey, 78% of the companies find it difficult to attract talent, while 64% find it challenging to retain employees. The best IT companies can do at this juncture is to frame rules which protect their own interests, because tying up the ambitions of employees in a post-COVID world may not really work. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
The recent comments by Wipro top boss Rishad Premji over moonlighting have taken the IT world by storm. While he has termed it cheating, many in the sector believe otherwise. With the extensive adoption of work from home post-pandemic, moonlighting has become a reality in today's workforce. But can this become a trend for a chunk of India Inc., where employees are made to sign onerous non-compete policies, let alone being allowed to take parallel jobs? Earlier in the day, Ayush Alabadi and I spoke to a stellar panel from the industry to get some insights into the crux of the matter.
For Rishad Premji to come out and speak about this so forcefully, there must be something to it.
I think you have to make up your mind which side. You can't have the best of both worlds, right? And I think this debate has just begun. Employers no longer live as long as they did. The average life of a Fortune 500 company when the first list came out was 64. It's now 14. So when a company is going to only live 14 years, what's the value of a pension promise? What is the symmetry of the contract? But employment has shifted from being a lifetime contract to a taxi cab relationship, right? Nobody's going to spend their life in a company, or at least most kids aren't. So I think this debate has just begun. But, people in the middle of the road get hit by trucks from both sides. So I'm really not sure about this notion that you're going to be able to double dip, where you'll have the security, the ecosystem, the colleagues of a large employer and a fixed income, and you'll be able to do this on the side. I think all of us have got used to working with colleagues who take flexible time and work with multiple employers. But the notion that everybody is a free agent probably doesn't recognize the reality of how organizational momentum, organizational memory, organizational culture, and professional satisfaction and learning happens. Soft skills aren't taught, they are caught. And I find professional people with much higher soft skills than somebody who's working gig all the time.
Ganesh, is there a big disconnect when we actually view how a lot of these IT companies are actually, carrying out all of these HR operations? I'll tell you why. Because I was speaking to, an HR leadership trainer, and essentially what he said was a big issue through the course of the pandemic, and why a lot of this has led to moonlighting is because there's a disconnect between the millennial manager, the millennial associate, and of course his manager as well, especially when they were working remotely. There was no monitoring, and that led to it. What do you think over the course of the pandemic has actually led to this concept becoming so ubiquitous?
No, I absolutely agree. In fact, I today do not support permanent work from home for exactly that reason, because there is no relationship. A lot of freshers have joined organizations and have never seen the inside of a campus. Now, that is asking for a complete lack of loyalty, lack of everything else. But totally agree with what Manish said. I mean, the nature of contracts are changing. And so long as the employer and the employee both realize the contractual relationship is going to be different, I mean, quite honestly, you can be fired like in the US or UK at 15 days notice. There's no lifetime contract. And similarly, your loyalty is only 15 days after you leave. That's fine. And I don't think that's going to change much. And we're never going to get back to the old way of work. All I'm saying, the simple point I'm making is, if you sign up and act as though you're there for life and you'll be loyal, etc., then you better be, or you find a job which enables you to flit around and do whatever you want. But I think the fact that there is a disconnect is absolutely right. The fact that there is moonlighting is also absolutely right. Does the disconnect justify moonlighting? Absolutely not.
And that's where we leave it on the show today. Thanks so much for watching.
कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
You know, people often ask me why I left my steady job at the call center. I wanted more out of life. So, I launched my own startup. Do you want to know how? Then start up your own business as an LIC agent. You want it, we've got it. Great products, zero investment, leading organization, and unlimited opportunities. So are you ready? Now think big. Become an LIC agent.
Visit our website or contact your nearest LIC branch.
Are you ready? Let's go.
कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
OLX ऑटोस ही देता है आपकी कार का बेस्ट प्राइस।
क्या बात कर रहे हो? यही कि OLX ऑटोस ही देता है आपकी कार का बेस्ट प्राइस। ये प्राइस नहीं, सरप्राइज है। विजिट olxautos.in। कभी कभी खुशी के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं, एक अनजान दोस्त ही काफी है। Ebix Cash, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।